What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a quick little video about the UFC 310 happening tomorrow as I'm recording this, December 7th. We're going to quickly go through all of mine, I don't know if they're yours, all of my predictions for this fight card. I talked about some of them in my little two-part video last time, where I did my predictions for UFC Maku and this card, but I'm going to go through the whole thing real quick. So, starting at the bottom with the heavyweights, Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Brzeski, I believe it is. I don't know how to say it. But I'm picking Lucas. I know Nzechukwu is a big favorite. But the age is about the same. They're probably going to weigh about the same. Nzechukwu is going to have a big reach advantage. But I don't know. I think sometimes I like to pick an underdog, and I think this guy, I'll pick him as the underdog, I don't necessarily rate Chris Barnett KO very highly. And, I know he lost to Mick Parkin, but he's on a pretty bad run, but it looks like he's coming from light heavyweight as well, and so is Kennedy and Nzechukwu. So I think it'll be kind of a boring fight, but I will pick the underdog just for the sake of picking the underdog. I've never seen him fight, though, so, maybe I should pick Kennedy, but I won't. But moving on to a fight I feel much better about, I'm picking Chase Hooper to win by some sort of finish. I'll say submission, and I'm going to guess in probably the second round. Guida is really, really old. That's about where it ends. He's 42. Chase Hooper's 25. This is a time where, just looking at the guys that Guida has fought and lost to is not very good. Chase Hooper, I think he's very good. I think he's really good on the ground. I think it'll be kind of a showcase for him. So I'll pick him by finish, probably submission in round 2. Moving on, we got Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. Again, this is a pretty even matchup. I would say I will pick Max Griffin here, and I think it will be a decision. I just don't think Michael Chiesa has ever been very good, to be honest. And I know Max Griffin is older, but I feel like the last time we saw Chiesa fight against Tony Ferguson, and then his previous 3 fights, while they are good fighters, Vicente Luque, Sean Brady, and Kevin Holland, he looked pretty slow in all of them. So I think, I will probably be wrong here. We'll probably lock up a Darce or something, but I'm going to go Max Griffin by decision. Cody Durden versus Josh Van up next. I will pick Joshua Van by finish, and I'm going to guess in the first round here. So big difference in age here, which always makes me think it's going to be the younger guy. But I do like Josh Van. I think we all like Josh Van, so glad to see he got back in the win column after dropping one against Charles Johnson. But he's got some time off, so I think he's winning this one. And, beating Matt Schnell doesn't do anything for me. Anybody could finish Matt Schnell. So coming off back-to-back losses, aside from that, I got Joshua Van by first round finish. Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. Excuse me. Who cares about this fight? So I won't take much time. Chris Weidman by decision via eye poke. All right, now we are on to the bangers. We got Brian Battle versus Randy Brown. I think this will be a super fun fight. They're both kind of at the same point in their career. Obviously, Randy Brown's a bit older here, but they're both kind of on the cusp of being ranked at welterweight. But I just think Brian Battle, he's that guy right now. I think he's on a nice streak. Got the blonde hair. I will pick him by submission in round 3, let's say. So yeah, this will be a fun one, and I'm excited for this. I think it'll be a really fun back and forth fight. Randy Brown, I could definitely see him winning by stoppage as well, if he uses that reach. Well, I guess there's only an inch difference, but if he uses his kicks, stays long, avoids some of the grappling, some of the more crazy exchanges that Battle can get into, I think he could win, but I think Ryan Battle will find his way to a submission in this one. One that I'm excited for, even though it will probably be boring as shit. I talked about this in my last video, but I'm going with Aljamain Sterling, and I'm going by decision. To nobody's surprise, I'm pretty sure we all know this is going to decision. It's just kind of what's your flavor here. But I got Aljamain. I think he's really good. I think the only way to beat him is to knock him out. And I don't think Evloev has the power to do that. So I will pick Aljamain. And he will maybe get a title shot, or he'd have to fight somebody else. But that's what I'm picking. I'm picking Sterling by decision, and he should be on the main card. I think we all know this by now, but this fight should be in the main card, not Gracie versus Bryce Mitchell. Next up, we have another fight that nobody really cares about. We have Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo. I don't know if I've ever seen... I must have seen Themba Gorimbo fight, but I've heard his name so much in the lead up to this that it doesn't really even sound real. And then Vicente Luque, glad he's not fighting Nick Diaz. I did not want to see him fight Nick Diaz, but kind of like Michael Chiesa, Vicente Luque's had a bit of a back and forth run, but fighting a lot of tough guys, Bilal, Jeff Neal, Joaquin Buckley. So for that reason alone, it makes me want to pick Vicente Luque by decision. Just seen him against better competition than Gorimbo, even though Vicente Luque is pretty gun shy now, but I don't really know if Gorimbo has the power to really punish Vicente Luque in that way. But I could see this one also going the full 15, being kind of boring, but I got Vicente Luque by decision. Headliner of the prelims, we got Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith. I'm going Dominic Reyes by finish. I'll say round 2. I do not like Anthony Smith. I don't think he's very good. And while Dominic Reyes has been pretty bad his last 4 fights, took some time off, and now he's come back up with a win. I am more confident in him than I am with Anthony Smith, who just goes back and forth, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. But Anthony Smith, he's got no skills that scare me if I'm a fighter. He doesn't have anything that scares me. I don't think he's knocking me out. And unless I fall face first into a submission, I think you're probably fine with that too. You're safe from that, I should say. So I got Dominic Reyes by KO or TKO in round 2. Starting off the main card, we got Nate the Train and Choi. This will be a fun fight. I think everybody knows that, but I am picking Nate Landwher by finish, and probably in the second round. I think it'll be a crazy back and forth first round, and then I think Nate the Train will land something big and get Choi up out of there, and we'll move on to a very similar fighter in terms of personality to Nate Landwher, with Bryce Mitchell and Gracie. Should not be on the main card, and I don't know what dirt Gracie has on the UFC to make him be on this card, considering he hasn't won a fight in almost 6 years, and his last fight was so bad. But yeah, we're going Bryce Mitchell, and we're going by decision. I don't think he can finish him. I think he'll just kind of stand and box him up, throw some nice kicks, and that'll be that. And then hopefully, if it was up to me with matchmaking, I'd do Nate Landwher versus Bryce Mitchell, battle for the South, next. But yeah, don't gotta spend too much time on this one. Just get Bryce Mitchell back in the win column. So next up is fight I'm very excited for, Cyril Gane versus Volkov. and I am going to be picking, maybe against my better judgment, I'm going to pick Ciryl Gane by decision. I think Volkov cares more about fighting than Ciryl Gane does. I don't think that's a very controversial statement. Didn't realize how old Ciryl Gane was. I thought he was closer to 32 than 34. And Volkov has kind of reinvented himself. He's gone on a really nice run. His win against Sergey Pavlovich is probably better than any win Ciryl Gane has ever had. But I do think Ciryl Gane is going to come in kind of focused up for this last little run of his career. I think he's going to try to make a title run, try to fight Aspinall, and we'll see what happens. But I do think that he wins this one. I don't see him getting a finish, but it'll be 2-0 Ciryl Gane versus Volkov. So yeah, we'll move on to the co-main event. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Garry. And I would say we're all I think we all think that Shavkat's going to win. Sure seems like that by the betting lines. But I do think it'll be a close fight. I think Ian Garry will get a lot of fans for his performance in this, as long as he keeps his mouth shut afterwards, because it seems like he can't do himself any favors anytime he talks. I just want to hate him more, which sucks, because on paper, Anthony Smith style, he should be like my favorite fighter. He's fun, he's young, he's from Ireland. Not to spoil my secret identity, but we share the same name. He's got the same favorite color as me. He's a fun fighter to watch, but to listen to is just fucking awful. So we're going Shavkat. I do think he keeps his finish streak alive. I think it will be submission again, and I think it'll be one of the middle rounds, 2 through 4. I'll go with number 3. I don't know if we'll ever see him hit championship rounds. So I'll go Shavkat by submission in round 3. I just don't think Ian Garry's got the power to finish Shavkat. I think if the people who did the best against Shavkat were Jeff Neal, because he had power and he could stumble Shavkat, and that he does have a great chin, but he doesn't have great head movement. And I think this fight's probably going to end the same way that the Wonder Boy fight ended, where Shavkat just bites down on the mouthpiece, gets a takedown, and gets a submission. So that's my 2 cents on this one. And finally, we've got the main event, Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. I think this will be similar to the co-main event. It'll be a competitive fight, but I do see the champion, Pantoja, getting a finish in one of the middle rounds, a submission, this time in round 4. I think Kai Asakura will get a lot of fans from this. I think he's kind of the big unknown, but I think he'll have a really fun fight. He'll have some good moments, and he'll get some fans from this, and we'll all be excited to see him in the flyweight division. But I think Pantoja is too good right now. I think he's got a granite chin. I think he's got maybe one more title defense in him before the 35 curse, But I do think this will be a very fun fight. Flyweights are kind of sneaky fun, and because they're so scrambly and they're just they're most of the time really high skilled. So I think this will be a really fun fight. I think it'll be high octane, but I do have the incumbent Alexander Pantoja winning this fight. So quick recap, back to the bottom here. I've got Lucas Brzeski winning by decision. Don't feel great about it. I got Chase Hooper winning by submission. Love that. Max Griffin winning by decision. Whatever about it. Josh Van by KO, TKO in round 1. Chris Weidman by decision. Who cares? Brian Battle by submission in round 3. Aljamain Sterling by decision against Evloev. Vicente Luque by decision against Themba Gorimbo. Dominic Reyes by KO TKO in round 2 against Anthony Smith. Then we got Nate the Train, Nate Landwher by finish TKO probably on Choi in the second round. Bryce Mitchell by decision. Cyril Gane by decision. Shavkat by submission in round 3. And Pantoja by submission in round 4. Let me know what you think of my picks here, guys, as I'll save these. I've been doing all right with my picks here. I'll show you some of the picks at the end. I guess I did just spoil my name, even though I said so. I've been doing all right in these picks, 9 to 12, 7 to 13. Pretty bad here. Where was my good ones? These back-to-back were pretty good. And then all the way down here, this is my best performance, I would say. So yeah, I am excited for this card. I think it'll be a very fun time, and I hope you guys all tune in. I'll come back next week for a little reaction video about what happens, and we'll go from there. All right, see you later. Peace.